Hey everyone, welcome to Taking Care With. Today I have Anna Russett with me. She is a creator and a strategist. Anna, thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Of course. Thank you for inviting me to this. I'm so excited to be a part of it.
I'm excited for the conversation. So I had Anna take the Take Care assessment, and the subdimension that she scored highest in was the area of sleep. So I'm excited to get into that with Anna. But if you're wondering, like, why is sleep in a self-care assessment and why is it in the mental and emotional dimension? It's because sleep is kind of like a foundation to how you show up. We can all probably think about who we are when we haven't had a good night's rest versus who we are when we are feeling like super rested, and they're pretty different people. Sleep affects your cognition, like your actual ability to think. It also affects how you relate emotionally as well. I know that I tend to be a lot more testy, angry, touchy when I haven't had a good night's rest. So now, Anna, I want to throw it over to you. What are some of your tips for getting a good night's sleep?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It is so important to me to get a good night's sleep. I need, like you said, it is a foundation that I feel like just realized early on that I need to prioritize in my life. So, one of the first things that really I feel like has always helped me, like at least try to relax during sleep or like while trying to go to bed, has been advice that my dad gave me when I was little. And if I was like laying in bed wide awake or like with racing thoughts, and I would come to him and be like, I can't sleep, he would be like, like even if you're not sleeping, you're resting by laying down, by taking the time to just lay in bed. Your body is resting and it is better than like if you were up doing something. So that always like I think comforted me and like reassured me because I think I'd be really worried about like, oh, am I going to be so tired the next day or whatever. And so by giving myself like a calm state of mind, knowing at least I'm doing something for myself here with rest, it helped me then like drift off into sleep. So that's like the first thing. Another thing that I really love to help me kind of just drift into sleep are any sort of like meditations or like a guided, almost like storytelling too, sometimes really helps me. There's so many good apps for this. One of my favorites is Headspace, and like they have these sleep casts that like they're like almost like little mini stories that like
Yeah.
guide you into sleep. One of my favorites is like this Rain Day Antiques, and it's like a rainy, like sleepy thing going on, and it just like helps guide me to like it helps to really focus on something while I'm falling asleep. Um, Similarly, there are these like YouTube channels that create these really animated, lifelike, very like cozy scenarios that I just adore. One of my favorite channels is called Dreamy Sound, and they create these like just the coziest scenarios of all different kinds. Like one of them is you're in this rainy car, like inside of the car with like rain falling down on the windshield and it's driving and you're just like in the back seat. So like I feel like that brings up memories for me of when I was little, like as my parents are driving home somewhere, I just like fell asleep in the back seat. They have so many different things like that that are just like great to like maybe like have on in the background while I fall asleep. Um, and then finally, I'd say like one of the other things that I really try to focus on if I can't fall asleep or if I'm like trying to fall asleep is like gratitude for my sleep space. Like I like when I get into bed, I just think about like, oh my gosh, I am so thankful for my bed. This is so cozy. It feels so good. I like wrap up in blankets and my pillows and I just think about like how comfortable I am right now and how I just like get to have this time for me, even if it's a couple hours, like even if it's not like the whole thing. And that brings me into like a really like a place of like calm, like solitude, like serenity, almost like bliss. And I'd say that really just helps me like get into the right place to drift off into sleep.
Oh my gosh, I love all of those tips. I want to try all of them. And I see why you scored so high in that dimension. And I like that you started it off. Your dad gave you some really good advice because
Oh my
I
gosh.
can
Yeah.
think of times when, like, even in the past week, I was laying in bed and I couldn't fall asleep. And I was just like beating myself up, like, you need to
Yes.
be asleep right now instead of
Right.
like, I'm still resting. So
Right. There's like
that
this panic
wow.
sometimes that like comes up like, oh no, I need to sleep. Oh, like you look at the clock and it's like, okay, I would only get 4 hours if I fell asleep right now. Like your body, like it's almost like adrenaline starts to, and of course you're not going to be able to fall asleep then if your like body's pumping with fear and panic. So I feel like just the like letting go and knowing like I'm getting some rest. It's really just been a good comfort for me. And I think my dad has sometimes struggled with sleep. So I think that for him, like being able to realize that and then being able to pass that down, like to me, that's like a piece of advice from him that I'm going to hold on for like ever.
Yeah, it's such a solid sleep foundation. Thank you for all of these tips. Like, seriously, I feel like I have homework to do after this because my sleep has not been amazing lately. So, selfishly,
Hey,
I'm so
yeah.
grateful for this
Of
conversation.
course. I mean, I think that totally makes sense. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Life is rough right now. So sleep's going to be difficult. But the more that we can do to try to find any little way that could work for us to help us get that great foundational piece of self-care in our lives, I feel like, it's worth prioritizing. So I hope this is helpful. It's good for me, but I hope that this is useful for everybody who's watching and for you too.
I'm sure it will be. It already has been useful for me. So, that box is checked. Anna, if
Yes.
people were like, I like listening to Anna talk, I want to see more of her, where can they find you?
Yeah, so I'm at Anna Russett across pretty much every social channel. I'm most active, I'd say, on my Instagram stories, but I also have a YouTube channel where I upload whenever I feel like it. And I'm also on Twitter too. Those are kind of like the main places I'll be.
Wonderful. Well, if you want to hear more from Anna, make sure that you connect with her. We will link to not only her social channels, but to the resources that she shared too. Thank you, Anna.
Yes. Thank you so much.